All right, we're doing chapter 18 today, and it is called The Seven Paths. And it looks like there should only be a couple more chapters, probably. But it would never hurt to go through the whole book again, honestly, and read it for ourselves again. And we will read it, and it will look totally different. All right, here we go. As might be expected, very little has appeared in our literature as to the seven paths which stretch before the man who has reached the fifth initiation. It is obviously impossible and also unnecessary to convey to our mind any impression as to the significance of these paths or as to the attributes needed for their treading. As time progresses and the race reaches a higher point of development, we shall be able to comprehend more under the law of economy. But under the law of economy, it would be fruitless effort for the teachers of the race to instruct us on the characteristics needed for the treading of the seven paths, before we have as yet apprehended or developed those required for traversing the probationary path, not to mention the path of initiation. So he's just saying, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. This is a long journey before we get ejected out into the cosmos and or choose our own way, so to speak. One general fact we do know, and that is that before these paths can be trodden, a man must be a master of the wisdom. He must be a brother of compassion, and he must be able, through intelligence and love, to wield the law. Our part at this time is to fit ourselves for the treading of the path of initiation by the discipline of the probationary path, by the careful direction of the life, by obedience to the laws understood, and by service to the race. When we have attained liberation, then these paths will stretch before us, and the one that we should tread will become apparent to us. All in this system works under the great law of attraction, and therefore, according to our vibration, according to our color and tone, will depend in all probability our choice. The greater free will of the cosmic system is under limitation, just as is the free will of the system of which we are a part, and the free will of man himself. Upon innate quality will depend the direction of our further progress. You know, there's a lot going on in there. It's just so much, right? So there's seven paths before us at some point. And we'll know when we get to it, basically what that path is for us. Now, you know, some of us, you know, as, you know, what we would say, you know, cosmic warriors or you know, military types, or maybe it's just this incarnation that we're thinking these things and it's going to change, or there's a disposition to, you know, to something now that might not be there later. But, you know, Earth service is one of these, and we're going to get into that here soon. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be interesting because I have a feeling, you know, if you had to say in this life, well, you're not going to leave people here, right? So a lot of us, I think, would choose Earth service. But we're going to get into it, and then we'll talk more about it. These seven paths might be enumerated as followed, and certain deductions based on the law of correspondence might be given out, provided always that we remember that words serve more to blind than elucidate, and that the briefest details are only possible. Okay. 1, the path of earth service. This is the path that keeps a man linked to the hierarchy that is pledged to the service of our planet and to the help of its evolution. It comprises of those who work under the Lord of the world in the 7 groups into which our masters of the wisdom are divided. Not so many masters follow this path as some of the others, and only enough are permitted to do so to carry on planetary evolution satisfactorily. Okay, so the option is limited essentially now a little bit. More is known about this path than any other, and more will be found out as members of our humanity fit themselves to contact the brotherhood. Their field of employ, their methods of work will eventually become exoteric knowledge. And as the 7 groups are recognized and known, schools of development for the filling of posts in these groups will be the logical sequence. And then we'll be looking in the classified ads to see if there's a position open or something. The cosmic classified ads. I'm just kidding. I am funny today. So that's very interesting there. But let's keep going, because we're gonna have to look at this as a whole. And try to imagine how we see ourselves. The path of magnetic work. Those who do the work of wielding forces or electrical magnetism for the use of the great ones on all planes pass to this path. They wield the elemental formative energy, manipulating matter of every density and vibration. Great waves of ideas and surging currents of public opinion on astral levels, as well as on the higher levels where the great ones work, are manipulated by them. A large number of 5th-ray people, those who have the ray of concrete knowledge for their monadic ray, pass to this line of endeavor. The inherent quality in the type of the monad settles usually the line of activity. Okay. So we're learning as we go here too. The karma of the 5th ray is one of the factors which produces this. These monads work with fohat, or electrical energy, and must to the end of the greater Manvantara. They have their eventual position on the cosmic mental plane, but as yet the capacity for abstract thought is so little developed that it is impossible for us to comprehend the significance of this expression. Well, that's something. That's something deep. All right, 3 is the path of training for planetary logoi. This path is trodden by those who will take up the work of the 7 planetary logoi of the next system and of the 49 subplanetary logoi, their assistants, and of certain other entities working in that particular department. There will be 7 systems, though we are only concerned with the 3 major systems, of which our present system is the 2nd major system. Each Chohan of a ray takes a certain number of initiates of the 6th initiation and trains them specially for this work. Special aptitude in color and sound predisposes the choice, and the ability to work with psyche, or the spirits in evolution, marks a man out for this high post. We might say that the planetary logoi are the divine psychologists, and therefore in the training for this post, psychology is the basic subject, though it is a psychology inconceivable as yet to us. Every planetary logos has in his own special planet, schools for the development of subordinate logoi, and there trains them for his high office, for this high office. giving them opportunity for wide experience. Even the logoi themselves progress onward, and their places must be taken. The path to Sirius. Very little may be communicated about this path, and the curiously close relation between it and the Pleiades can only be mentioned, further speculation being impossible. The bulk of liberated humanity goes this way, and the prospect holds out glorious possibilities. The 7 stars of the Pleiades are the goal for the 7 types, and this is hinted at in the book of Job in the words, "Canst thou bind the sweet influence of the Pleiades?" In the mystery of this influence and in the secret of the sun Sirius are hidden the facts of our cosmic evolution and incidentally, therefore, of our solar system. All right, the 5 is the ray path. It's difficult to know by what other name to call this path, as so little is known about it. In treading it, a man stays on his own ray and works thereon in the various kingdoms on the plains, carrying out the behests of the Lord of the world and working under his direction. It carries a man to every part of the solar system, yet links him definitely with the synthetic ray. It is a very complex path, for it necessitates a capacity for the most intricate mathematics and an ability to geometrize in a manner incomprehensible to our 3-dimensional brains. This path is taken by the man to whom the law of vibration is of profound importance. He works first in the council chamber of the Lord of the world at Shambhala, manipulating the law of vibration on his own ray. Later, he will have his habitat on the planet corresponding to his own ray, and not on the earth unless he is on the ray of the planetary logos holding sway upon the earth. Later again, as his evolution progresses, he will pass to the sun. Then, having mastered all connected with vibration in this system, he will pass to the cosmic system, going off his own ray, which is but a subsidiary ray of one cosmic ray, onto the corresponding cosmic ray. So you can see that this is a never-ending journey, but best to do it, best to get up to this point and really be aware. Best to be conscious. It's time to put our ignorance behind, right? Just as the evolution of man in this system is 5-fold, so in the above we have enumerated the principal 5 paths from which a master has to choose. And we don't get to, this doesn't happen until we become a master, and we all will. I just heard. I literally was listening to Michael Robbins' meditation this morning, Seeds of the Infinite. Just amazing meditation. It was number 11. But he says, we're all going to be masters. It's just a matter of, doing the work to get there. It's inevitable. But it's also important to get comfortable in the process. We don't know how long it's going to take. So the remaining 2 can only be principal paths. So this is a long journey. The remaining 2 can only be touched upon still more briefly, for they hold but a very few of the evolving sons of men, owing to the high point of attainment necessitated for their entrance, and the fact that those who enter upon them pass out of the system altogether. They do not lead to Sirius, as do some of the other paths. It will be noted that 4 groups remain in the system, passing eventually in dim and distant aeons to the cosmic planes. 1 group passes directly to Sirius, and the remaining 2 groups pass directly after initiation to the cosmic planes, with no period of intermediate work on Earth, in the system, or on Sirius. These two paths are, let's see where this goes. The path of the Logos, the path the Logos himself is on. It will have become apparent to all cult students who have studied with care the world processes in light of the law of correspondences that the Logos on the cosmic planes is evolving intercosmic vision, just as man in his lesser degree is aiming at the same vision in the system. This might be called the development of the cosmic third eye. Interesting. In the physical plane structure of the eye lies hid the secret, and its study may come some revelation of the mystery. That's something to ponder on there. A certain type of the eye, a certain part of the eye is the nucleus of sight and the apparatus of vision itself. The remainder of the eye acts as a protecting shell, and both parts are required, and neither can exist without the other. So in this greater case, only the analogy exists on such high levels that words only blur and dim the truth. Certain of the sons of men, a nucleus who reached a very high initiation in the previous solar system, formed an esoteric group around the Logos when he decided upon further progress. In consequence, he formed this system. Cosmic desire for incarnation driving him on. This esoteric group remains the Logos on the atomic or first plane of the system, on the subjective inner side, and it corresponds in an occult sense to the pupil of the eye. The real home of these great entities is upon the cosmic Buddhic plane. That's awfully high. That's actually the highest I want to say that I've heard discussed. We hear some about the cosmic physical and the cosmic astral, and sometimes about the cosmic mental. And I think Buddha said Buddha's cosmic mental, but I had not heard about the cosmic Buddha at this point. So that's interesting. Gradually, by dint of hard effort, certain masters have qualified themselves or are qualifying themselves to take the place of the original members of the group, permitting of their return to a cosmic center around which our system and the greater system of Sirius revolve. It's just infinite. It was just unbelievable. Only one adept here and there has the necessary qualifications, for it involves the development of a certain type of response to cosmic vibration. It means a specializing in the inner sight and the development of a certain measure of cosmic vision. More of the Deva evolution passed to this path than do the human. Human beings pass to it via the Deva evolution, which can be entered by transference to the fifth path, the ray path. On this latter path, the two evolutions can merge, and from the fifth path, the sixth can be entered. Of course, that makes perfect sense. And I don't mean that literally. I mean, of course, there would be a path, a way to merge to the path of absolute sonship. This sonship is a correspondence on the highest plane to that grade of discipleship, which we call Son of the Master. It is the sonship to a being higher than our Logos, of whom we may not speak. It is the great controlling path of karma. The Lapika lords are on this path, and all who are fitted for that line of work and who are close to the Logos in a personal, intimate sense pass to the path of absolute sonship. It is the path of the special intimates of the Logos, and into their hands he has put the working out of karma in the solar system. They know his wishes, his will, and his aim, and to them he entrusts the carrying out of his behests. This group, associated with the Logos, forms a special group linked to a still higher Logos. All right, that is the end of chapter 18. And it outlines the paths. Now, this isn't the only place that paths are outlined either. I want to say this is also done in these initiations are talked about in many of the books, and it's because of the correspondence to the energy that's happening. Now, what you'll see is as we keep reading these books, you'll pick up something from this book that's not included in one of the other books, and they will come together, and it will be understood based on having all of the information coming together. It's very interesting how this works out, but the same information, you might hear similar information, but it's not the same. And this is one of the earlier books, and the later books go into more detail. So as you keep that in mind as we go, and it's time already for us to start thinking about which of the next books we're going to read when this one's, when we're done with this one. So we're getting close to that. Very interesting here, but it's been told it's a never-ending journey. So this is something we can get very comfortable in. And quite honestly, once we move past the, being fully engrossed in the body, and once we bypass, probably that, whatever level, I'm not going to get into that, but once we kind of see that we're outside, we're not this body, everything becomes much easier. Once we become the observer and we're able to watch this without emotional, without that emotional connection to everything, without that astral connection, then the journeys gets much more, smooth sailing at that point. I've heard other people say it different. Life still goes on, but you know what? You always have the higher levels of consciousness to put yourself in now. Once you're past that, the astral, the emotional levels of this. Once we're out, we move past the body and the astral plane. So, at that point, it's just a matter of beginning to learn what we need to know to do what we need to do, and whatever that is for whatever level we're at. Not to talk too broad and wide there, but I think that's really true. We can just get comfortable. If we're going to be a master of the wisdom, there's stuff you need to know, and we're these books, these are life studies. These cannot be comprehended in one life. You might be able to read all the books, but we would not understand them in one life. Not while the rest of not with the rest of the things we have to do. So it's just a matter of really getting comfortable and settling in and seeing our direction and moving out on it, and just committing to learning and growing and getting in alignment, essentially. So welcome to the rest of eternity, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. We'll be on to the 19th chapter tomorrow, which is going to really get in and dig in on for us a bit, because we're going into the rules for applicants. So, we're all aspirants of our next level of consciousness. Essentially, we're all wanting to get to the next level, and these rules are going to be laid out for us. And at some point, especially when you get into a treatise on white magic and the rules, it becomes very clear. I want to say, yeah, anyway, we'll see tomorrow. Okay, have a good one.